Let me tell you about a friend. She contends she will always love me. It's this ability to lie and deceive that has lost me completely.
Hello, and be welcome. Love and romance, tragedy and sorrow, paramours and bitter rivals. To the childer of Cain, these are not foreign concepts, and though I have much to say on what it means to love among the damned, for the differences from what mortals experience and refer to are so boundless they cannot be called the same thing. Yet this bitter blossom is no stranger to the get of Cain, for even the Dark Father in the Book of Nod cautions in the Book of Shadows.
Embrace not love, for love in my embrace will grow cold, wither, and die.
And for my disagreements with Aristotle de Laurent, he wisely notes in conclusion to this warning, "This is a powerful statement, however short. We see it time and time again, the tragedy that occurs because kindred ignore this simple commandment. Yet in the yawning echoes of eternity which confronts the kindred in their unlife, and yes, in spite of them being solitary predators, companionship is, in the words of a certain toreador of whom you might learn more of soon, the get of Cain do not generally like the company of others of their kind. Like great beasts, we recognize one another as competitors whose territory or hunting is threatened by others, and yet our hunger for companionship is fierce, no, desperate. Yet each paramour, each dalliance with romance, each affection, and every immortal hand which reaches for this fabled rose finds it withered and dead before long. Edward Vines embraced his mortal wife Vera, and for over a century they endured time's incessant need for change. They endured the downfall of the Camarilla in Los Angeles, and even the birth of the Anarch movement and the Free States alongside one another. And yet their love by the end of it all cooled, withered, and died. Even the venerable Jean Peterzoon and infamous Lucita de Aragon were at one time paramours. A relationship that, for more reasons than mere clan relations, was turbulent and complicated, and ended in so foul a fashion that even the ever level-headed Jean Peterzoon is embittered, such that he would openly, quite openly, mention her as a glorified prostitute in the Encyclopedia Vampirica. Love conspires to elude the childer of Cain. For even the texts in which we might find beyond the Book of Nod clearly states that a blood bond to the third degree is the closest the damned can hope to come to achieving true love, an artificial passion which frankly offends the senses of any toreador. Not that they will not still utilize it, as is only proper. The tragedy and woes of Cainite's attempts at romance are innumerable, regardless of clan, for even Radu Bistris indulged in such dalliances with equally Cainites such as Ariane, and even the occasional mortal woman, for which there is an entire story seed which can be found in Transylvania by night. But do not despair for these woeful pains of Cainite love, for even their darkened hues enliven the stories and adventure and misdeeds of the world of darkness. They provide the depth of feeling. They heighten the pains of loss felt by kindred, and even sorrow at its most cruel, its most bittersweet, can still create beautiful stories, wonderful rivalries, heart-wrenching tragedies, the kinds of stories which have enchanted and captivated humanity since the dawn of time. And even should you bite into such a bitter morsel, you can still have that story which sticks with you, that scene which spurred powerful emotion in your breast, and a story you will be able to share and have shared again and again. Some of my most memorable moments in the world of darkness have been born of these tragedies, of paramours whom I've had, Lovers I kept in my company turned bitter rival or silent enemy until it culminated in a destructive shadow war interplaying behind the scenes of everyone before us. And at the end, when I was holding their ashes, a horrible and inexplicable sorrow for which I did not know the origin of, and yet provoked tears of blood to streak past my face, suddenly took hold of me. Like a cold that I could not rid of, it refused to fade, even like a breath on a pane of glass. And at other times, grim satisfaction of my deed, and of a story so greatly told. That being said, there is not only despair to be found. I point you to the incredibly rare display of immortal love found in the story of Christophe Romuald. Prior to his embrace, Christophe was a crusader knight whom fighting pagans in Bohemia would be grievously wounded and healed at a church in Prague, where he would meet the nun, Agnieszka, for whom an almost immediate love for would be born within him. Even in spite of his injuries, when she was threatened by the torments of the Zemisi, he would rise from his bed to defend her from the Schlachter which would have dragged her off, and the following day, when the sun was high, he ventured into the silver mine to destroy their master, and there he would find what was to be the symbol of their love, the cross of St. Jude, patron saint of lost causes. For even as mortals their love was a precarious one, their oaths sworn to God and duties conspiring to tear them apart, and unbeknownst to Christophe, the attraction of Cainite's eyes to him over his deeds. In spite of his embrace by Ekaterina the Wise into Clan Bruja, he would fight to see her again, and she would not give up on him, in spite of his warnings.
Christophe? My love?
Thou art accursed, if Christophe be thy love.
Nay, do not go, my lord. Let me look upon thee. Good my lord, forgive me. I was filled with fright to behold thee. Thy comely face is now sicklied over with a pale cast, and I scarcely recognized thee. Forgive me. Thou hast been gone so long, we feared for thy life.
Thou feared aright, for I am dead to the world, and my soul is lost.
Do I behold a ghost? Nay, I touch thy arm, and I know thou art flesh and blood.
Not flesh, only blood.
My lord, thy words do fill my heart with fear, and I tremble. Good my lord, why dost thou look so strangely upon me?
My mind is filled with thoughts of such base villainy. My hunger for thee is stronger now than when my heart did pump its own warm blood.
I know not what misfortune weighs so heavily upon thy soul, or has driven the rosy warmth from thy cheek, but the heavenly powers can banish all such darkness.
Should they banish this darkness, they would banish all that is left of me.
Say not so. My lord, I know thy heart, and thy soul is pure.
My heart, my soul. Thy words torment me with remembrance of all that I have lost. I was a fool to have come here. I must never return to a house of God.
Nay, I pray thee stay. My honored lord, thy soul is in peril.
My honored lady, my soul is lost. My cause is doomed, and I am damned. I go. I will not look upon thee again.
Then I pray thee, my lord, receive this token of me. 'Tis but a small amulet of St. Jude. Thou didst give it me, and it hath soothed the pangs of mine own heart that began when first I beheld thee, and a desperate, hopeless love did grow in my breast. Mayhap it will be some consolation to thy doomed cause.
Art thou deaf, woman? My cause is lost!
Therefore do I offer thee the amulet of Jude, patron saint of lost causes.
Oh.
Now, sweet heavens, guide him.
In fact, she would go so far and at such threat to her own life to seek a way to save and be reunited with him, that Kristoff would soon find himself at conflict with the entirety of Clan Tremere, the Ventru, and Tzimisce, where Inezka had become the ghoul servant of a potent and ancient Tzimisce, and in spite of her supposed defilement and horror subjected to and horror subjected to her, Kristoff fought. Even 800 years did not cool his search or love for her, as he would go on fighting Sedites and Giovanni, Nosferatu, Ventru, and Tzimisce until he could again be reunited with her, learning that in spite of her words long ago, in spite of her actions, she had remained true at heart and longed for his return, even conspiring against her master to arrange it. Reunited, their love won out, and to save her from destruction without her master, to sustain her foe immortality, Kristoff would give her the embrace, and between them always was the symbol of St. Jude. A long story that cannot be fully summarized here. But should you wish to experience that, you can find it. Vampire the Masquerade Redemption.
Go to her, Kristoff. Now that the fiend is no more, my unnatural power dissolves. I fear for my soul after my defilement, after all that I have done. But I rejoice that my last sight shall be thee. I only pray that one day I may attain thy forgiveness.
I grant all forgiveness, though thou art blameless and pure in mine eyes.
Then death finds me in joy and rapture.
Inezka, my accursed soul trembles to utter these selfish, blasphemous words. But thou need not die if thou wouldst endure.
Thou wouldst still have me, Kristoff? I scarcely dared hope.
Thy love has redeemed me across 1,000 years. I would that I could offer salvation in return, but I have none to give, only damnation.
Damnation with thee would be sweet as salvation. Let thy love cast me down and raise me up forever. Take me, my love.
Such rare and precious examples of immortal love make every failure and every trial worth risking for a chance to attain, and say at the end, I claimed love eternal. But who knows? Other noteworthy romances of the world of darkness among the child of Cain would include Belisarius and Shaba, the Azamite. Alternatively, you also have the love of Khalida and her Ventru paramour. And of course, amongst my troop, with my protégée, most especially in her propensity for paramours, which she finds enlivens her experiences. There is, of course, Marcus Graves, of whom you may hear about in the future, and as will be seen, and yes, we are getting back to the Victorian age, Alexander Charnock, who thus far has been one of those rare and true immortal loves. Join us next year when we will discuss the love among the Garou, the warriors and tragic heroes of Gaia, and the love they share with their mates and packmates, and the bitter Hirano which threatens them.